Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I had a subscriber post a comment yesterday, which I'll flip in here for you guys, and he's telling me, you know what, Jason Blaha needs to get to a 400 bench, 600 squat, 700 deadlift, or you're a pussy, you're weak. And this is said in my video where I discuss how to squat every day without overtraining. Let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, work on skilling my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. Man, that was a little bit harsh. I think those are some steep goals. You know what though? I think I need to take these goals seriously. Now, does that mean I'm going to reach these goals? No. Are they hypothetically possible for me here in my 40s if I get my training perfect, my diet perfect, my recovery, if I'm willing to sleep a lot? I mean, I am a full-time YouTuber. I technically work out for a living. Is it possible? Yeah, I think it might be possible. I think those are lofty goals, particularly because I'm not willing to blast a bunch of gear. I'm in my 40s, heart disease runs in my family. I honestly think the hardest thing on that list would be the bench press. I think a 600 squat will be easier for me to get than a 400 bench press. The reason I say that is just because, again, I know how quick my squat goes up when I'm squatting every day or doing a high-frequency squat program. Now, these are numbers, most of these numbers I've hit in the past when younger. However, the thing was I didn't do them without gear. I've never hit a 700 deadlift. I don't know if that one's possible for me. So I'm willing to try though, because here's basically what my goals were for this year. For those who don't know, I was hoping to maybe crack a 650 deadlift this year if I can get around to focusing on my deadlift, because I needed to focus on squatting and pressing. I wanted to get to that. I wanted to get to a 500 raw squat, 350 bench, maybe at least a 240 strict press, right? Those were goals of mine. Although I'd set some of that out as rep work, but I decided for a lot of it was to try to get to a 225 press for a triple, 500 squat, and 315 floor press for 3. And then once I can hit a floor press for 3 reps, because I touched my chest on a floor press, my torso's thick enough to do that. When I got to that to 3, I would probably go back to doing some flat benching again, because that would give me the pressing base. And then next year it was going to be try to get to a 550 squat and go from there. So is this possible? I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know. I think these are extremely lofty goals. Something like this is like a 3-year goal if I don't have any true interruptions in my training, and that's usually the biggest issue. Injury, outside life influences. So it's a question of, can I mitigate these other factors? Can I control for these things? Can I keep all of that in check? Can I keep my stress levels low enough to train in the way that I need to do this? Yeah, if I can keep those factors in check, these might be achievable if I'm willing to go all down on my training. And I'm willing to do that right now. I'm definitely willing to do that. I'm willing to give these a try. Again, I think the hardest one on there, a 400 bench without blasting gear, without using anabolics, I think is really difficult, particularly in my 40s. A guy with longer arms like me, I have long arms. That could be really tough. That's actually, for me, the scariest one on that list of going, man, I don't know if I can do that. But here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. That's also that doubt in there that says, you know what, I'm in my 40s. Those are tough goals. There's life things could get in the way. But then I have to step back and say, why am I allowing these sort of limits to be put on me? I was still benching 405. I hit a 405 bench in the gym 3 years after coming off gear, back when I was 30 years old, right? Because I came off gear at 27. I was 30 and I got a 405. I walked in and hit a 550 squat. The same week I did a 405 bench to see where my maxes were. And that entire year, my workouts were only 20 minutes long. I was able to just get in the gym and get out, get one good set in, and get out of the gym 5 days a week after work. That's what I was doing that year because I was busy with my job. I worked a 60-hour work week, and I was able to do that. So, if I think about it, I don't have a full-time job now. I'm a YouTuber for a living. I can sleep as much as I want. I can rest as much as I want. I have the option to train with any protocol that I want. Assuming I can always find a facility to do so. And eventually, I mean, before I reach these goals, I'm probably going to have a garage gym again, where again, I can do anything that I want to do as far as a training schedule goes. I mean, I'm in an ideal position. So part of me steps back and says, you know, remember that challenge I set for the prison thing? That got me back into my Bulgarian training, that mindset of asking the question of, if you were locked in a prison cell and had to get to a 400 bench and a 600 squat, what would you do? Assuming you had access to 3 meals a day, anything you want. Well, I mean, I can afford 3 meals of anything I want a day, you know, within reason. I don't have unlimited funds, and I can afford to eat steak and chicken and veggies and fruit and brown rice. I can afford that. My lifestyle allows for me to sleep 12 hours a day if I have to. It's doable. It's doable. I don't have a lot of outside stressors. I mean, they're there, but I've been able to mitigate them at this point. So yeah, I don't know. It might be doable. But that's the thing. You know, we have the limitations that we put upon ourselves. And I don't want to be one of those people. You know, and that's the thing. When I talk about limitations and drug-free limitations, that's one of the things that I've heard a lot of people out there really dislike that. I've heard other YouTubers say that because I say things like that, that makes me the king of mediocrity, to imply that people have limits. You know, I've caught flack for that. I've caught flack for that. So part of me wants to say, well, you know, we've got to be realistic. We all have to be able to realistically assess our life situation. We all have to do that. But my current lifestyle allows for me to do Bulgarian style training. My current lifestyle allows for me to sleep and eat as much as I want. My current lifestyle allows for me to make my entire day-to-day schedule. As long as I get my videos done, as long as I get whatever other work I need to get done, my business taken care of, make sure my bills are paid, make sure my girl's happy, make sure my dog's walked. I don't have any limitations. The only limitations I'm going to have are my genetics, what I'm willing to put into my body, and the fact that I'm middle-aged now, that I'm in my 40s. But you know what? There are guys in their 40s hitting numbers like that. There are guys hitting those numbers. They're out there. What makes them different from me? I don't necessarily have the worst genetics for powerlifting. Actually, I have decent powerlifting genetics. Not top tier, but I have decent ones. And you know, I remember Max Adia saying that Obidjev, and I'm going to say that wrong, the founder of the Bulgarian method, used to be his coach. He actually said at one time that genetics didn't matter that much. They mattered, but he said that if they gave him a Kalashnikov rifle and a German Shepherd and free reign to do whatever he wanted, he could turn anybody into a champion. Well, that's an interesting way to look at it. This is a guy who trained a lot of world champions. What was his stance on it? So, part of me wants to step back and say, yeah, those goals are lofty. But if I accept in my mind that they're unachievable, they won't be achievable. If I've got a subscriber standing there telling me I have to reach those goals, and I say, okay, but I don't have a time frame, how long does it take? Not necessarily a question of can they be achieved, it's a question of how long will it take, and how long can I work towards them consistently without getting hurt and without getting derailed. That's the real questions. And I guess if I look at it from that perspective, is that if I don't let anything get in my way, this might be doable. And if it isn't doable, I can probably get pretty close. I can get pretty close. Get there 1 pound at a time. You know, so what? Okay, if I don't reach a 600 squat, what if I reach a 585? If I don't reach a 400 bench, what if I reach a 385? Well, I don't know. Let's get there and see. Doesn't mean my goals for this year are going to change. But again, it also comes back to the point of I'm also seeing other people on YouTube, watching other lifters on YouTube. Now, there's the interesting thing, because people always say, well, you know, I don't see anyone at my gym lifting those numbers. You say people should lift this number or that number. I think that's unachievable. But here's the thing. Here's what's been noted by tons of lifters over the years. How many lifters do you say that when you go see people in commercial gyms, they don't lift a lot because no one else knows how to do it around them? No one knows how to do it. And they don't have examples. You go to a powerlifting gym, if every guy in the gym has a 600 raw squat, the noobs who come in end up getting there. In other words, if the average gym member that they see every day can squat 600 pounds, the guy who has a 315 squat when he joins the gym gets to 600 relatively quickly, much faster than you would expect. Why? Because he's watching other people around him. He knows how they're doing it. He sees how they're doing it. He's talking to them. He gets advice from them, and the bar has been raised. Because ultimately, I think a big part of strength and performance, and this has been noted over the years, a lot of it has been seen in every sport, is that once a barrier is broken, tons of people start breaking that barrier again. Right? As soon as someone broke a 5-minute mile, tons of people started breaking a 5-minute mile. First time someone broke a 4-minute mile, other people started doing it. So we see that in lifting too. Other people start reaching the goal, you start getting more and more people who do it because it drops that barrier, that limitation in their mind. Because strength is a little bit different of an animal, isn't it? Strength is a little different than muscle mass. Muscle mass can have genetic and structural limits to how thick they'll get. Strength doesn't always seem to quite have that, does it? The question of how far do people think that they can go with their strength safely? Right? How do they train? How do they sleep? How do they eat? How far are they willing to go with it? So, yeah. You know what? The person has dropped the gauntlet, and I'm going to say, okay, maybe I need to get towards that. Let me start working that direction. I'm already working that way now. I just think those goals are a little bit lofty. Those goals that that person dropped are a little higher than I had hoped to achieve. But this is a fan. Someone who watches me. This is someone who expects me to do it because they take my advice. Maybe I need to do it. If he believes I can do it, you guys believe I can do it, some of you might, maybe I need to believe I can do it. Stop putting that self-doubt there. Just need to approach it with caution, be careful, pay attention to my recovery, pay attention to my form, pay attention to my connective tissue, and this might be doable. Let me go ahead and work on it. So I'll tell you what, Austin, the challenge has been accepted. I'm going to start working that direction, and if I fail, it won't be for a lack of effort. It will be due to simply running out of time, I suppose. Because that's an open-ended goal, isn't it? Maybe that could be a lifetime. I need to ditch this in the next 3 years, the next 5 years. We just start working that way. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.